Hey, what's going on out there, everybody? Let me make sure we get this all set up. All right. How you doing this week? Hopefully it's been a good week for everybody. It has been pretty big week in terms of boutique news. There's been quite a few announcements. What's going on, Tom? Good to see you here tonight. Happy to see you here early. Yep, second live show on the weekly show. Done a few live. Hoping to get some more of those interviews coming soon, hopefully. Hope you've had a good week there, Tom. We're going to go through some of the announcements that have come out this week, and there's been a surprisingly large number of them for the middle of the month. Normally, we only get Criterion, and we got quite a few this week. Ones that we don't usually get. We got a lot of 88 Films announcements. We're also going to go over the Severin announcements that pretty much just came up. What's going on, Ryan? Yes, so many new releases, way more than I was prepped for this week. It's probably going to be a pretty long show tonight, especially considering I've got this massive box here that I'm going to unbox after we go through all these announcements and talk about what's coming out next week, since most people have either gotten those releases or they're about to get those releases. So we're going to go over those after we go over the announcements. Last week was a interesting first week, and I was pretty much just getting used to it. This week, we're really going to get into it. So I'm glad you guys are here. Let's talk. Let's go first through the announcements that have come out this week. Let me get my Instagram sharing here. All right, that's coming through here. First, if you didn't see, last, I believe it was Friday, I put up a video on my channel of my full movie room tour. A lot of people requested that, and it finally came out. What's going on, Dustin? It was a good, like 75-minute video. It's something like that. Angel, hey. It's a fun one. So if you're interested in what I've got all around me for boutiques, it's a good one to start with. But right after that on Friday, they also announced the Shout Select sale. Anybody shopping that sale? I got to be honest, I had a couple that I purchased. The sale, I believe, goes through tomorrow. I think it's a full entire week sale. I did get a couple. I got the Anne Bancroft collection. That's the cheapest I've seen that one. I think it's going for $40. And surprisingly, I mean, I'm sure you guys know this already. Shout Factory is usually pretty bad when it comes to sales on their website. I mean, they've got a couple that are under $10 right now. That's pretty dang good. Angel got a couple. Angel, what'd you get? Interested in hearing about that. We're going to go through the next one, which is 88 Films, though. 88 Films is an odd company. Did they sell out a Street Fighter? Oh, well, I guess with Sonny Chiba passing today, that could have been a rough... they probably sold quite a few more than they were expecting on that one, if it wasn't sold out before today. 88 Films is odd. They normally don't do regular announcements. They seem to tease what's coming up, like with the Riccio set that's about to come out, I believe, in September. They put a little snippet of the artwork up, and that was it. They said, look what's coming, and then they didn't say anything else about it. And then like 5 weeks later, they said, hey, this is available on Amazon UK. Go ahead and purchase it. Not even available on their website, but it's available on Amazon UK. So 88 Films finally went on a regular announcement spree last Friday, and the entire day they were releasing stuff for like 2 hours, what they were announcing, and a lot of them look great. So this is coming up on October 18th. It is a 2-disc set steelbook with brand new artwork, 2 discs, a poster, and a full slip. Now, 88 Films, as far as I'm aware, has never released a steelbook. I know Second Sight has released a couple in the UK, but I don't think 88 Films has released one. If I'm remembering wrong, let me know by all means. But kind of interested in seeing this. They've obviously been doing a lot with Jackie Chan, but this looks pretty damn great for a first steelbook from them. This is a UK-only release. This is not coming out in the US like some of their upcoming things. But you'll probably be able to get this at Orbit. They've been getting everything 88 has put out. And then after that, they announced this one, which is a big deal. A lot of people have asked about this title for quite some time. Hatchet for the Honeymoon is coming to the Italian collection. This is surprisingly limited. I was shocked when I saw this. If you see this here, they're only making 2,000 of this limited release. I have no idea why. 88 Films has gotten immensely more popular than they were for quite some time. Some of these Jackie Chan titles are selling out within the first week. God, what was that one that just came out? It was Erotic Ghost Story, the limited release for Erotic Ghost Story. It sold out, I believe, on pre-order. And yet this is only getting a 2,000 print run. I don't understand it. Looks pretty good. You can already pre-order it. It's out there. It's got a one of those rigid slipcases like the more limited releases they've been putting out, which is pretty nice for this. Got a new set of artwork. It's got a poster, and this is from Mario Bava, obviously. This is Hatchet for the Honeymoon, a superlative early 70s slasher. Back in the realm of the giallo feature, a cinematic subgenre he practically invented, with echoes of Psycho and Peeping Tom. I gotta be honest, I've never seen this one, and I've heard about it for years. I've waited for a good release. And Ryan has seen it. He says it's one of his favorites. So excited. It's been long overdue to get a nice edition. I agree. This is one that has been talked about. If you pretty much Google top giallo movies, this is on most of those lists. This is one of those sets that I am astonished has not come out in some crazy, high number release list somewhere. And this is finally coming out. Angel is 88 Films Just UK. I mean, they are not region A usually ever. As for the region coding, I believe all of 88 Films releases so far, except for one or two, have been region locked to region B. Now, keep in mind, they don't choose to region lock them. That's only based on the license holder. I'm sure any label would love to release everything region free so that they could sell more. But so far, yes, 88 Films has been region locked, I believe, either 100% of the time or about 99% of the time. Like every single Jackie Chan title has been locked B. Most of their horror titles have been locked B. I believe there's a couple slasher classics that they've been able to do region free. Like if I remember right, I think these sleepaway camps even are region free, and that's one of the big reasons to go for them, because Sleepaway Camp 2 and 3 from Scream Factory are long out of print and go for crazy money on eBay right now. Ryan says, you'll definitely enjoy it. Lives up to any positive hype. I am stoked. It looks great. And it's one of those sets of artwork that it screams to watch it. I love the way that they got this going. And then after that, they announced this one is coming to the U.S. And actually, this is a pair of releases. This is the Flag of Iron and Legendary Weapons of China. This is two of the Shaw Brothers titles that had been rumored to be coming out from 88 Films. And this is perfect timing. The release date on this is 25th of October, so people can get these and prepare for that Shawscope set from Arrow that is coming out in December. So if you'd like, I believe these are not available to pre-order yet, but with it being 25th of October, I imagine the pre-orders for this are going to be up soon. There's new artwork being created by Kung Fu Bob. They should be showing that off here soon. I think it's hilarious that they are showing this 88 Films logo with the eagle. Just hilarious that they're doing that for the U.S. But that's about what you expect from them. And then they kept it coming, and they're re-releasing the Anaconda Collection. Anybody have that first Anaconda Collection? I got to be honest, I've got that first collection from them, and I'm not mad necessarily, but it's kind of messed up that they released this with what I think is much better artwork, but also they have gotten better about their boxes. And so this is going to come in one of those nice hard boxes, and the original release is that super crappy soft cardboard. So I don't know. If I can trade away my old one for something, I might pick this one up again just for the better box. Their limited release of this, it didn't have a book or anything. It's going to be all the same content, just a different box. So interesting setup there. Anybody else trying to fight the temptation of getting the new one? Next up, seems to be a lot of Jet Li coming this fall. This is Jet Li the One, and this is coming in another Steelbook. This is the first one they announced for November. This is also limited to only 2,000 units. Available to pre-order from the UK already. This is only going to the UK. And I believe I saw this one years ago and loved it. I don't remember the actual plot to this one very much, but I got to be honest, a lot of those movies from that era just seem to blend together. But this is one that I can't wait to revisit in the lens that I've been able to build up over the last 10 years with collecting and watching as much as I have. This also has Carla Gugino, Jason Statham, and Delroy Lindo. And that's why I believe I remember this. I believe I remember Jason Statham being in the movie with him. Unless there was another one he was in with Jet Li, but I do not think so. Kyle says, the one, that ending still makes me laugh. Yep, at least you remember it better than I do. Is this one of the ones filmed in France? I don't remember on this one. Let me see if it says. This is wild to me, too. Did you see this? From the director of Final Destination. I still love that first Final Destination movie, but to think that he did the one with Jet Li, that's interesting. Angel, I'll look up the information on there about where it was filmed. There is quite a few Jet Li movies that came out from around that time. And the next one, they finally have officially announced a release date, coming November 15th as Jackie Chan in Armor of God. We have no announcement or clues on the type of release yet, but I guarantee this is probably going to be... Oh, there's your answer there, Angel. Kiss of the Dragon was the one in France. Armor of God is most likely going to be in the big limited release, just like Operation Condor was. And this is going to be one that they go all in on. If you are collecting any of the Jackie Chan titles, I will caution you to pre-order this early, because this one is likely to sell out on pre-order. This is a big deal. And I don't think they said here the number of units that they're going to be making. This is probably even going to be expanded if they were allowed to. I'm willing to bet this is going to be a 3,000 or 4,000 unit run. And it says, we can't tell you much about the release right now, other than it will be the ultimate edition and feature 2 cuts of the film, plus 7 soundtracks, including English and Cantonese monos with Lorelei and Flight of the Dragon selections for your ending preferences. We'll feature commentaries from the likes of Frank, Jang, Mike, and Arnie, and Kenneth Borson and Phil Gillen of the Podcast on Fire Network, plus a very special The Art of Action episode was filmed for this release by Scott Adkins and Matt Rutledge. Archive TV episode featuring Jackie Chan and loads more are cramming onto the discs. Notice they said discs there. For now, though, check out the trailer link below if you'd like to watch the trailer. It is available. That is going to be a big deal. That is one I'm super stoked on. The Jackie Chan releases from them have been ridiculously good. But then they finally announced another horror one, and this one is looking to be surprisingly nice for this movie. Scream Factory put out Zombie High in the US, and it is nowhere near as nice looking as this one. The art on the Scream Factory Zombie High is boring and sad. This is, of course, you'll probably recognize her in this drawing here, Virginia Madsen from Candyman, and Richard Cox in this humorous thriller about the bizarre happenings that occur in a prestigious boarding school. This one is one that I saw years ago. It's decent. It's not amazing, but it's got, like this says here, a great supporting cast. There are lots of people here that you'll recognize, mainly Paul Feig, who goes on to create Freaks and Geeks and Spy and Bridesmaids. And yeah, this is one, if you don't have the Scream Factory release, I would certainly recommend it. This is one that is fun, at least. And then I believe we even have a couple more from them. One of them, coming in November, is Good Guys Wear Black. Not a lot of information on this one yet, but it's Chuck Norris and it's 88 Films. I'm curious if they're going to be starting a long line of releases like they have with Jean-Claude Van Damme. It would not surprise me. There have not been many great releases of Chuck Norris films in the UK. And to be honest, there haven't been many that have been released in the US with really definitive editions. And Chuck Norris is getting up there in age, so I'm sure a lot of people are wanting to get some interviews and commentaries down with him. he's probably willing to work with some of these companies. So we'll see what else comes on that one. And then following that up is Black Cat. This is not to be confused with the various retellings of Poe's famous tale. Black Cat is a high-octane Hong Kong action thriller that provides a hugely entertaining precursor to the likes of Kill Bill Volume 1 and The Villainess. This is one that I've heard about for a long time, and just like I was just talking about with that previous release, I've delayed watching this one. I had someone else that had this on a DVD, and I had wanted to see it, but this is supposedly a great movie. I cannot wait to see this. This is going to be one that I think is going to sell pretty well for them as well. It's got quite a reputation, and it's 88 Films. They've made their own reputation over the last couple of years, and I'm willing to bet that they do really well with this one. It would not surprise me if this got one of those really nice limited edition releases either. And then 2 more Shaw Brothers announcements, and I think this is it from 88 Films. These are coming, one in November and one in December. Coming in the US and the UK, we have Monkey Kung Fu and Shaolin Mantis. Now, I believe we had confirmed previously that Shaolin Mantis was coming. I think Monkey Kung Fu was a surprise, though. This is another one perfectly set up for you to prepare for Shawscope coming out. It is going to be a nice Hong Kong fall for us. There are so many movies coming out with Asian cinema, Hong Kong cinema, Shaw Brothers. The other big one that we're about to talk about that was announced this week from Criterion, finally. That is setting us up for a really killer November, December. And if you're a fan of Asian cinema at all, you are living the dream right now. Anybody else out there into Shaw Brothers? I've got a few from them, and I'm hoping to get some of the other ones that 88 has put out before. Kino Lorber announced one of their titles over the weekend, The UFO Incident. This is with James Earl Jones. I don't know much about this one, have not heard much about it previously. This is just one of those catalog titles that Kino seems to put out 3 or 4 of every week. And then this one is one that I'm actually very excited about. If you have not started following Culture Shock Releasing, they are a great company to get behind right now. They've only put out 3 or 4 titles, I believe, and just put out another pre-order, I believe, last week that went up that you could get. And Girlfriend from Hell is one that they are scanning and restoring in 4K from the original negatives. And they've not announced a whole lot more with this. I believe there's going to be a bonus feature on this one. But yeah, this has Dana Ashbrook from Twin Peaks, and it's a really fun movie. I saw this one long time ago and cannot wait to see it again. Culture Shock Releasing, though, they are fantastic, really high quality. The only hard part is they put out a couple of shot-on-video titles, and a couple of those, obviously, they're not going to look any better on Blu-ray, so they're only on DVD. All right. So let's get the elephant in the room out of the way. How does the group feel about this artwork? If you watched live when I was on Flip's channel on Tuesday, I already had my short little discussion on this. But this giant K, there's only one reason this truly bothers me. That one reason is the fact that Barnes & Nobles across the country are going to be littered with KKK sitting across the racks. I personally have nothing against the artwork. It is classic. It is strong. It fits the aura of the movie, in my opinion. I think it's, yeah, Dustin says he likes it. I agree. It is from the opening credits, I believe, that they took the actual K from. The other thing is this is a 4-disc set. If you were buying the big, we'll get into the fact that it's 4K in just a second, but if you buy the big release of this, this is a 4-disc set. So that is the perfect setup for one of their digipacks to fold out and spell Kane. We don't necessarily have confirmation that that's happening yet, but it would not surprise me whatsoever. Ryan says, it's fairly audacious, but once I shelve it, I'll think of it with the character. Yeah, that's basically it. You're not going to be seeing this big K staring out from your shelves every single day or anything. It is something that's on the front. I understand if you don't love it and you expected some, work of art that is, done in oils or pastels or something. It's fine. It does look like a giant marquee. I agree, Angel. And to be honest, this is their marquee title that they announced, the next part that we're going to talk about. And that's the fact that this is finally in 4K UHD. This is a new 4K digital restoration with uncompressed monaural soundtrack in the 4K UHD edition. There's one 4K disc of the film presented with Dolby Vision HDR and 3 full Blu-rays with the film and special features. There are multiple commentaries, brand new ones as well, and some that are previously used and recycled. We also have the complete Citizen Kane from 1991, a rarely seen feature-length BBC documentary. This is a fantastic release, in my opinion. We'll talk about the pricing in just a minute. I'm shocked that it's as decent as it is, but either way, we have Citizen Kane in 4K. It's not something that is something to complain about. And the fact that we went, all week, every single time something has been released, people have been making jokes about the K, people have been talking about artwork on other releases. It's really not that big of a deal yet. It is just a K. I don't understand it. Angel is not 4K yet, but he's excited. I am 4K, and I'm all in. If you need any help or opinions on that, I think we talked about that a little bit last week, but by all means, 4K is, in my opinion, here to stay, and we are showing, especially with Criterion finally jumping in, everybody can do it, and it is going very well. One of the best companies that puts out 4K is Blue Underground, and I'm real curious to see how Criterion can compete with them, and we will finally find out. So speaking of that 4K, here is the second 4K title that's coming out, and technically it's not the second chronologically because the third one that I have listed here is actually beating Citizen Kane by a week, which is odd considering what they said about Citizen Kane being their first 4K release, because technically it's going to be their second. So Menace to Society. This is coming in 4K. I wish when I had posted this that we had the photo that came out of the actual packaging. This is a cutout, just like the recent release of Parasite, and it looks fantastic. The colors, the way that the cutout works, it is so striking. I cannot wait to have this one in hand. And in 4K, this is going to look fantastic. Maybe they'll release Malcolm X and just have a giant X. That would not surprise me. And honestly, it's a title that would fit right in with their fall slate. With everything they've had coming out with this, Love and Basketball, they have that box set coming out with Sweet Sweetbacks. Yeah, it would work very well. And obviously, fantastic movie. And the Giant X cutout, I believe there's actually, I think there's a Vinegar Syndrome title that already has a Giant X cutout. So we could kind of see what that's going to look like. But that's a slipcover, not a digipack, obviously. This one is barely in their 20s when they sent shockwaves through American cinema and hip-hop culture with this fatalistic and unflinching vision of life and death on the streets of Watts, Los Angeles in the 1990s. So I grew up loving this movie. Don't remember how much I've talked about on the channel yet, but I actually grew up in Southern California. And Kyle Bowen up here, who said every kiss begins with Cain, he grew up in Southern California as well. I loved watching this movie. Grew up watching it countless times. There in the shadows of the riots of 1965 and 1992, young Cain is growing up under the influence of his ruthless drug-dealing father, Samuel L. Jackson, in a chilling cameo, and his loose cannon best friend, O-Dog. So first off, I remember certain parts of the riots from 1992. Kind of a big deal when I was growing up, obviously. I didn't live in Los Angeles. I lived on the outskirts when that was happening. Probably about driving time, 40, 45 minutes away from LA. But it was a big deal. There was a lot. My grandmother owned a business around then, and secret fact, most white families around that time were fairly racist, and my family was definitely racist. So yeah, they were afraid. thankfully, we can stop that stigma now and move forward. And a lot of the ways that we can do that is with art like Menace to Society. And let's go on with this for those of you that have never seen this. Leading him into a spiral of violent crime from which he is not sure he wants to escape, despite the best efforts of his grandparents and the steadfast Ronnie, who is played by Jada Pinkett in a fantastic role. She is amazing in that movie. Fusing grim realism with a propulsively stylish aesthetic honed through the Hughes brothers' work on rap videos, Menace to Society is a searing cautionary tale about the devastating human toll of hopelessness. And then the important part that we are talking about on the boutique and 4K side. Let me boot that. And I can't. The new 4K digital restoration of the director's cut of the film, supervised by cinematographer Lisa Rinsler and co-director Albert Hughes with 7.1 surround. The sound on this movie has always been great, and I cannot wait to see that on a good setup. Unfortunately, I don't have surround in my setup, but I am looking forward to seeing that. Tom Ford is talking about 88 films. Only 88 films I have is Massacre and Dinosaur Valley, even though it lists on the back Region B, it plays on Region A. There you go. I believe that was Angel asking about that. And I believe Massacre and Dinosaur Valley is better than the Severin release. I think there's something about that is, maybe it's more uncut than the Severin release, something maybe Tom knows. Angel says, this is a great movie. I love Boys in the Hood too. Yes, Boys in the Hood is great. Also got a 4K recently. That is a wonderful one. For some reason, I grew up watching this one more than Boys in the Hood. But I've definitely become somebody that can appreciate both of them nowadays. And then going on from here, in the 4K UHD edition, there's one 4K disc of the film with Dolby Vision HDR and one Blu-ray of the film and special features. That is awesome. The fact that they are able to include both, and it is a 2-pack, it is something that most people were hoping for. And that pricing that we're going to get into in just a minute, surprisingly, it's great. It's in line with other boutiques. And hell, if you're buying it on, this is coming out in November. If you're buying it during the Barnes & Noble half-off sale, this is going to be surprisingly affordable. And this is the next big one. This is the Once Upon a Time in China, the complete films collection. So this is the other Jet Li I was talking about. One of the pinnacles of Hong Kong cinema's 1990s golden age, the Once Upon a Time in China series set a new standard for martial arts spectacle and launched action star Jet Li to international fame. So with this, they are releasing all 5 of the Once Upon a Time in China series titles. And then if you read the actual press release, which I am going to move over to and reference real quick so that you can see this just in case you haven't. Let me change to a different tab. Here we go, sharing. All right, so the new title, Once Upon a Time in China, has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 discs. And then here they are going all in on the films. So they have Once Upon a Time in China from 1991, Once Upon a Time in China 2 from 92, there's 3 from 93, 4 from 93, and then 5 from 1994. But then you scroll down to the special features. Let me get this zoomed out. And if you look here, they have Once Upon a Time in China and America from 1997. That is not something that anybody was expecting. Criterion is going all in on this title, and it shows. The MSRP on this one, which I know a lot of people were worried about, is $125, which means it is going to be $62.50-ish, $63, whatever, during the Barnes & Noble half-off sale, and that's for 6 great films. This is a set that I can't wait to have. This, unfortunately for me, blows the Eureka set out of the water. So I'm going to try to get rid of my Eureka set to prepare for this. Angel says the small clip looks really good. It really does. The restoration on this looks fantastic. I'm not sure if it's the same on the Eureka for the first 3. I don't think they said, did they? 4K digital restorations. So yes, I think it actually might be better because I think Eureka was only a 2K. So they did 4K digital on 1, 2, and 3, and new 2K digital restorations of 4 and 5. There is so much on here. It is fantastic. And then this one, this is overlooked by a lot of people. From Spikes to Spindles, a 1976 documentary about New York City's Chinatown featuring uncredited work by Shui. This looks fantastic. I cannot wait to have this in hand. Really good looking set. And again, surprisingly affordable. That is like the surprising moment of the day for me, is when Criterion announced these and they were not $10, $15 more. So I'm going to go back to the Instagram account here and go to the next one, which is the one that a lot of people had guessed, Mulholland Drive, coming in 4K. Brian is here. Hey, Brian. He says, you see that Severin took down Drop Dead Fred. What? Meaning the listing is down on their site? That's an interesting development. I'm also curious if something happened, because there was another boutique, I believe Umbrella or somebody from Australia, that had also announced it. Huh. I hope there's not a problem there, because I was really looking forward to that. Yes. Dang, that sucks. So Mulholland Drive 4K is coming out, and this is technically going to be Criterion's first 4K release. This is coming out a week before Citizen Kane. This looks to be exactly the same as their already released Blu-ray release, except for in the 4K UHD edition, there's a new 4K restoration supervised by David Lynch and the DP Peter Deming, and all the features appear to be the same, I believe. Nothing else, same art, all that extra that comes with it. Everything else is the same. So if you are not super into 4K, probably no reason to upgrade. But if you love Lynch, this is the perfect time to upgrade. And then they also announced La Strada. This is a Fellini title. This was in the box set, but it got a standalone release. And not a whole lot to say about that. If you wanted this one, or you're super into Fellini, you probably already have that box set. But like I was talking about, let's talk about their pricing. So this is their pricing for, I believe this was Mulholland Drive. So for their 4K release, the MSRP is $49.95. I was speculating previously that if they did 4K, it would probably be something like $60 to $70. And to come out of the gates and show that it's only $50, that's a big deal. I mean, they did the same thing when they went to Blu-ray finally, is they made their Blu-rays the same price as their DVDs were, and then lowered the price of their DVDs. They didn't quite do that on here, which is understandable. You know, during the Barnes & Noble sale, $25 for Mulholland Drive in 4K, that's worth it. If you're still going to buy the Blu-ray, $20 makes sense. I would never see them releasing this at 4K for $20 on sale and lowering the Blu-ray prices to $15. It just wouldn't make sense fiscally for them. The wholesale pricing for Criterion is already crazy. So if anybody's ever paid attention to that, if you go and buy, we'll just say Mulholland Drive from something like Diabolic DVD or Grindhouse Video, it will always be priced somewhere around $27.99. And from what I've been told, they only make about $2 off of that. So they can't even ever really drop the prices on their Criterions, because they don't get the same pricing Barnes & Noble does. Barnes & Noble probably gets those for about $10 to $11 cheaper than anywhere else, and that's why they have an exclusive on them. They have that long agreement. So $50 for Mulholland Drive, but then Citizen Kane is listed at $60. And again, 4K, but it's 4 discs. So if they're going to do these random special 4-disc releases and they're only going to be $60, full MSRP, that's honestly not that bad. I mean, the MSRP on some of these Vinegar Syndrome 4Ks are $60. It is fully in line with other MSRPs, but then on sale, it's going to be even cheaper. This one on sale in November for $30 feels like a steal to me. If you're going to be buying that Citizen Kane for half off, that is, again, just a lot less than I would have expected if you had told me they were putting out Citizen Kane on 4K a month ago. What does everybody else think about their pricing? Brian says they even took it down off their socials. Wow. I'm going to hop over to Severin and see what if we can see anything. But I guess if they just took it down, probably not expecting to see anything. That would be a dumb move. Crazy. All right, let me go to the next post, see what else we got. If you're into Steelbooks, of course, we're getting a Black Widow Steelbook from Best Buy and the MCU. Not much to go over there. Very expected. If you are into classic cinema, we're also getting a 4K Steelbook of the 10 Commandments. I'm willing to bet that this looks incredible in 4K. Not really my cup of tea film-wise. I'm not a big fan of this one, but I bet it looks fantastic. The way it was filmed is going to be perfect for 4K. Not to mention the design on this is interesting. I'm honestly surprised. I think this is the first Steelbook they've made for the 10 Commandments. You had the perfect design. Just make each of the sides of the Steelbook one of the slabs. Maybe that's why I'm not a graphic designer. Next one. This one kind of ruined part of my week. I was really looking forward to the fact that From Dusk Till Dawn was coming out in 4K in just a couple of months. And now it is sounding like this one has been delayed, and not just delayed, but potentially canceled. No idea why. I'm hoping this still comes out at some point. This is a big deal. I believe this was announced right about when Scream got announced, so I'm hoping that we're still able to get Scream with enough time. I'm hearing that there's a lot of manufacturing delays that have hit a lot of these boutiques recently. Hence, like if you follow Scream Factory, they've had a lot of delays recently. And obviously, Arrow has had their fair share of delays this year. Next up is another one of Kino's catalog titles. This is the Spider-Woman Strikes Back. This one looks surprisingly good. I don't believe I've ever seen it, but my favorite part about it is it's only 59 minutes. Easy enough to start and finish in one night. This is a sequel. And then this one, speaking of things that really disappointed me, this is the Titans of Cult releasing Steelbook for Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. This is some of the most uninspired art I've ever seen related to this movie. There's so much they could have done with this, and to put the word sucks right on the front, that's kind of ballsy. Obviously, I get what it's from, but I love this movie. I think they could have done a lot better with it. Thankfully, I don't collect the Titans of Cult releases, but this one just looks sad. Brian says it's solid pricing on Criterion. I agree. I'm glad that you agree. And then I put out another video this week about introducing movies to my kids. They gave me some laughs. Hopefully you guys watched that and got some laughs too. Kino also announced The Mad Doctor is coming. This one's from 1940 in black and white. Just another one of their catalog titles. This one's got Basil Rathbone. And then they also announced with Scorpion releasing that they are putting out Counterpoint. This is, let's see, when did I post this? 2 days ago. They announced another one today with Scorpion that I'm really looking forward to. But this one is Charlton Heston. Seems like he is getting a lot of attention lately with some of these smaller boutique labels like Scorpion. They are putting out quite a few things. This one looks pretty fun. And not only Charlton Heston, this also has Leslie Nielsen. that is one of the big names that a lot of people are going to gravitate towards, especially if they have never seen anything before his comedy, because obviously he was pretty big before his comedic films. That was nothing. Now, I love Steelbooks. I have calmed down a lot lately, but this design, man, Lionsgate has been releasing some incredible exclusive Steelbooks through Best Buy, and the slip on this thing, I don't think they could have done much better. This is really nicely integrated with the art, just like the Saw 4K Steelbook was. The the peeling of the skin there. I love that they put in that second frame the actual what it will look like when you're taking that off. It looks fantastic. Kyle says, ooh, yeah, this is in 4K and available to pre-order now and surprisingly cheap on Best Buy. This is only, I believe, like $20 right now. And this is one, I believe all the Lionsgate releases have been selling out pretty quickly. So if you're wanting this release or that art, I would probably get that pre-ordered as soon as possible. Next announcement was Warner Archive this week. Some pretty good titles. First up was Straight Time. This is one a lot of people have been clamoring for. Nice classic Dustin Hoffman. Then we got Olivia de Havilland and Errol Flynn in the Santa Fe Trail. I have never seen this one. I've heard good things, and it's from that perfect era of Warner that just lit up the screen. Then we have The Window. Don't know a whole lot about this one. It's got Paul Stewart and Barbara Hale and Bobby Driscoll. And then one that a lot of people have been asking about for a long time is The Naked Spur. We got James Stewart, Janet Leigh. This is, and Ralph Meeker too. Forgot he was in this. This is a big one. And then my most anticipated one from this month is A Night at the Opera from the Marx Brothers. Tom Ford says, started my grandson on monster movies. Nice. Watched Seventh Voyage of Sinbad with it. He loved it. I've been trying to get my hands on that Indicator box set of Sinbad for a while again. I used to have it. I traded it away for stupid reasons, and I really want it back again. But that's a great one to start with. Night at the Opera with the Marx Brothers. I had heard rumblings that this was coming to Criterion. I'm not surprised that it didn't. Warner Archive is great. They usually have really good pricing. I'm just hoping that we get a really good release on this one. I'm sure it'll look great. Most of their titles usually do. Marx Brothers are perfect for a time like we're going through right now. Nice escapism movies. And then this one came out of nowhere yesterday. Anybody that's into the Harry Potter franchise, this is coming out, and it is the entire 8-movie 4K collection for the anniversary of the Sorcerer's Stone. And this is available to pre-order right now. And it comes with this wonderful train. And if you look, this is one of those classic sets that will actually, I think I put it up here. Yep, here it is. Holds all of the movies in the passenger area in the back. Really cool looking set. One of those ones that are just perfect on the shelf, screaming for attention. I don't have any of the Harry Potter movies on 4K, so this might be one I'm interested in eventually if it stays in stock. This is one kind of reminds me of the way they did the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood rollout of their collector's edition, and that one didn't last even till Christmas, so I would not be surprised if this was gone quickly as well. Really nice set, though. I am stoked on the way this looks. Next up, we have Severin Films. Ryan says, I ordered that set, couldn't not pick this up. Nice. Yeah, I definitely want it to. Yeah, and I can't remember if my wife saw that post yet or not. I'm sure she would want it as well. Okay, so Severin finally put out announcements, as we were just talking about Drop Dead Fred. Gosh, I still hope that's on the schedule. We have 2 and only 2 so far announcements for Severin for the month of October. Now, they have already said that they have a big announcement coming next week, and could also be coming in October, or it could be coming later. It sounds like a box set, but first we have confirmed Barbara Steele, who is fantastic, in An Angel for Satan. This is going to be one of the best releases from them this year. That is a standalone release, at least. In her final film of her Italian Gothic period, the legendary Barbara Steele stars in one of the most startling erotic shockers of her entire career. Don't you just love that iconic face right there? It screams Black Sunday to me. She is such a striking figure. For those of you that haven't seen it, which I'm willing to bet most people have not, because this is one that has not had a lot of eyes for a while, it says, when a cursed statue is recovered from a villa's lake, a young heiress will inflict a torrent of depraved seduction and homicidal madness on the local village. Anthony Steffin, Claudio Gora, and Marina Berti co-star in a Euro horror classic featuring Steele in all her mid-60s glory. That is speaking my language entirely. I cannot wait to see this one. It looks fantastic, and they are doing some good things with it. They've got audio commentary with Barbara Steele and film historian David Delvey, audio commentary with Kat Ellinger, of course, the author of Daughters of Darkness. Barbara and Her Furs, 1967 short film by Pierre Andro based on Venus and Furs, starring Barbara Steele, with optional partial commentary by Steele. And then trailer and all that, of course. Now, Severin's usually pretty open on their region locking. This one does say it's region A locked, so be prepared for that. Angel Pereira says, give me the Franco. I love his black and white films. Heck yes. Angel for Satan bundle is why I need Severin therapy. Franco noir films look amazing. I agree, Ryan. Speaking of Franco, let's talk about those. This looks fantastic. I am stoked that they're doing a double feature on this. They probably would not have gotten away with doing 2 standalone releases. So to put this out at the same time, and also the same sort of era as that Barbara Steele title, it makes sense. This is going to be a great month overall. And I don't have a picture of it on here, but they are also releasing one of their Hall of Fame pins with Barbara Steele, and it looks great. If you've ever wanted to see all of their Hall of Fame pins, they're available on their site. Or in my room tour, I've got them all displayed on a cork board up above me here, and I love the way I've got them here if you've just ever wanted to see them all next to each other. So about Franco Noir here. Following his international breakthrough with the awful Dr. Orloff, Jess Franco next delivered a startling pair of crime thrillers that pistol-whip European notions of film noir while lighting the fuse on Uncle Jess's own insane aesthetic. That's some good copy. That just makes me want to watch this already. Set in New Orleans and based on a novel by the authors of Vertigo, Death Whistles the Blues is a hard-boiled tale of betrayal, violence, and revenge featuring smoky jazz compositions by Franco himself. That is awesome. I cannot wait to watch that one. Angel says, Rafifi is legit good, even for non-Franco fans. I can retire my Spain DVD finally. Nice, nice. Rafifi in the City is the second title. Thanks for bringing that up, Angel. Jean Servais of Rafifi fame stars in Rafifi in the City, a nihilistic trip through a pulp underworld of thugs, snitches, nightclub dames, and black-gloved giallo-style murders. Both films, which led an impressed Orson Welles to hire Franco as assistant on Chimes at Midnight, now feature HD scans from the original negatives for the first time ever. And of course, the maestro of all things, Jeff Franco, they have an interview with Stephen Thrower, author of Murderous Passions. That is a fantastic release. I'm glad they didn't do a whole lot more special features on this. They'd probably have to dial back some of the compression. There's a little bit there, enough to give some, historical relevance to these. An hour Thrower alone is worth the price of admission. I fully agree. And for anyone else, if you've never checked out any of Stephen Thrower's stuff, he is great. He's one of the most knowledgeable people on film that I've ever had the pleasure of listening to and reading. His books are amazing. I do have his Jess Franco book, and it is crazy the amount of information and depth that he's able to go into through there. I cannot wait to watch his interview on this. I am glad that you guys are excited. Seems that we're on the same page there. And then a couple more. This was just yesterday. Kino announced Homebodies. I am loving. I like packaging myself. I love the movies, but I love having a nice package since I am a collector here. I love that they're going all in on these slipcovers. Kino has some good movies that they're choosing slipcovers for, but they don't release everything with slipcovers, which is nice. Don't make you feel like you need to collect everything. This one looks great. Lots of really good art. This is from 1974. Has a new audio commentary, new interviews, a whole bunch of old information that they put in here. And if you've never seen it, a murder a day keeps the landlord away. That is a great tagline. They also have That's Not the Victim Screaming, It's You. Really good here. And then they say, when 6 mild-mannered senior citizens are told that their old brownstone is going to be torn down, they don't take the news lightly. Led by a pixie-faced lady, the oldsters decide they must exert gray power and take action. After a little plotting and planning, they become an oddly lovable assortment of hitmen, carefully getting rid of those who would attempt to disrupt their lives. This hilarious horror story from director Larry Yost will not only make you laugh, it'll also make you look twice at that sweet old lady who lives next door. When you hear that, how can you not want to watch that? Vaderdrome says, why haven't Bloodsport got a proper 4K scan and Blu-ray release yet? You know, I'm not entirely sure. I'm hoping we get some soon. I believe I had heard from, if I'm remembering right, Eric from MVD Rewind, that they were looking into it. They seem to be in that camp already. They've put out a couple titles like Bloodsport. Would not surprise me if they got it, but I'm sure if they wanted it, and obviously they do, they probably would have got it by now. I'm hoping it's not tangled up in one of those terrible rights situations. And then Ryan says, Homebody's description sounds fantastic and campy. Yes, extra campy, sounds amazing. It is speaking right to me. And then a big one that came out early this morning while I was asleep. The Howling is getting a 4K release in the UK from Studio Canal. So this is 2 falls in a row that they are putting out esteemed werewolf movies in 4K for the first time. Last year we got An American Werewolf in London. This looks to be a very similar set. Angel, wow, you know what? That's a good point that I did not think about. Homebody sounds a bit like La Comunidad from Alex de la Iglesia. I adore Alex de la Iglesia. I hope we get everything he's ever put out. Severin has done great this year with him. The Howling on 4K. This is one I have faith that they're going to do right by this title. There's a lot that they could do. John Landis is good at what he does. This title is something that they are, sorry, I said Joe Landis. I said Landis. I was thinking about American Werewolf still. This is Joe Dante, of course. With groundbreaking special effects by Rob Bottin, The Howling has been stunningly restored for a new generation of horror fans. Graphically violent and sexually explicit and nightmarishly intense, it remains one of the most original werewolf movies of the 80s. Of course, and it looks great. And also, if you don't want this special edition set, I happen to love the original art, the poster art, and they're putting that out on this wonderful-looking Steelbook. I love the way that the colors pop off of this thing, and instead of going with the more subdued art like Scream Factory used with this poster, this just pops like crazy. It looks like they are bringing those colors out just like their HDR. Hopefully it's going to work on the release. Looks good. I don't know if I'm necessarily going to be picking this up because I assume a US label is going to be putting that out eventually, especially with the title as big as The Howling, and Joe Dante obviously has a following. Yeah, we'll see. It's been a good year for some of these 4K titles, though. Certainly excited to hear what it looks like. But another 4K that I'm super stoked on, we are getting, I believe this is coming out in early December, Who Framed Roger Rabbit in 4K in a Best Buy exclusive Steelbook. They are doing a standard release of this as well, but the death of Disney, I guess, was mourned too soon. This art to me is great. The yellow pops. It makes me think of the taxi from the movie. Really, really nicely done. I wish these original promo cover arts from Best Buy were not so blurry so that we can get a little more on the detail, but I'm sure that'll come the next couple of days. Stoked we're getting this on 4K. Has potential to look amazing. Who Framed Roger Rabbit? And then today, really exciting news. I swear it has been a very busy week for middle of the month. We are also getting from Kino Lorber Night Gallery Season 1. This is, of course, with Rod Serling sitting here beautiful on this slipcover. From Kino, they are really putting everything into this. So there's a brand new 2K master for the 2-hour pilot and 6 of the Season 1 episodes. There's new audio commentary for the pilot by screenwriter and historian Gary Garani. New audio commentary by Night Gallery authors. There's audio commentaries on a bunch of these episodes. I think it is on most of the episodes. And then there's a look at the show's troubled second life in reruns, a new featurette by film historian Craig Beam. This looks fantastic, and obviously one that a lot of people know and has been waiting for a long time. This is great. Not to mention, this is another one of those Kino, in my opinion, knocking out of the park examples. This art looks great. There's a lot that they could have just let fall here, but yeah, it looks really good. Obviously, Rod Serling from The Twilight Zone. That's where everybody knows him from. And then just this afternoon, this might be the last one, if I'm remembering right. Let me see. Nope, we got one more. Just this afternoon, if you didn't see this, I hope that you can still get it. Scream Factory released that they have a exclusive variant for the vinyl soundtrack for Halloween Kills, and they are putting that out with Sacred Bones. There are only 500 copies of this that went up on the Scream Factory site. If you want it, it is available now, today. John Carpenter is the one that has scored this one as well with his son, Cody. Looks really good. I'm loving that variant. I do have quite a bit of vinyl, like if you watch the room tour video. Speaking of Night Gallery, Tom says he doesn't remember a 2-hour pilot. They might have broken it up. I don't necessarily remember it being 2 hours either. But this release looks great from Scream Factory. It's more from Sacred Bones, obviously. Scream Factory just partnered to put out a variant. Available now. And then, like I talked about, Charlton Heston, Kino is putting out #1 that also has Jessica Walter in it. And when you're #1, everyone wants a piece of the action. This is a sports drama coming soon, probably in late November or early December. And that is it for what was announced this week. I say that was it, but man, that is a lot. Criterion, Severin, tons of Kino, and all of that started with 88 Films. And this whole time we've had a Shout Select sale, just tons of stuff going on. Looking forward to what is coming out next week. Let me see here. We have official releases finally of Two Evil Eyes from Blue Underground, their latest 4K. We got The Cat o' Nine Tails from Arrow coming out on 4K. Overboard, which might be in this box next to me. We'll be talking about that in just a minute. The Prince of the City from Warner Archive is about to be out finally. Conjuring 3 is probably the most relevant title that's coming out from mainstream titles. A lot of Scream and Shout Factory coming out next week with Return to Salem's Lot, the Oh God Collection, and I believe the third Scream Factory title is coming out that week, or maybe it already dropped. Either way, and then we have the original art release of Cat o' Nine Tails. Unearthed Films putting out Evil Dead Trap finally. Been waiting on that one, and I got it in. Dustin said, wrong one. Dustin said pre-order the Waxwork variant and the Sacred Bones variant for Halloween Kills. Nice, nice. I think I mixed out on the Waxwork variant. And then Ryan says, Cat of Nine Tails arrived today. Beautiful edition, but with Arrow, that's the norm. I agree. They have killed it this year. I was just talking about it on Flip's channel a couple nights ago that this year is going to be probably the most difficult year in the last handful of years to determine like a top 10 boutique releases. It's going to be even hard to narrow down to 20. It seems like we are on this massive mountain that we just keep going up with huge quality increases on some of these releases. Labels like Arrow and Vinegar Syndrome having banner years, and then other labels that have done good things before but are absolutely killing it. Like, in my opinion, Severin Films this year has had their best year probably ever. The titles that they've put out are way above what they had put out over the last couple of years, in my opinion. Not to mention the jumping increase in quality for their box sets. They are, I believe, when I open this up, we're going to find that their slipcovers are improving. I had been told by one of their employees that after all of the complaints over how tight they were, they are changing manufacturers to be something a little more akin to Vinegar Syndrome. We'll see as soon as I pop that open. What else is coming out this next week? Blind Beast from Arrow. That's one I have not received yet, but looks great. One Dark Night from MVD Rewind. I have that label guide up on my channel if you want to watch that. Cannibal Man, and that's from Severin. The Dark, another MVD Rewind title that has come out. I believe Orbit and Diabolic have been shipping both of those MVD titles. The other Severin title for this month is No One Heard the Scream, and they also have the Kinky Collection from Eloy de la Iglesia. Guyana Cult of the Damned is coming from Code Red, and that's probably Viva, actually, is one that a lot of people have been talking about. This got I think it was Shameless release from the UK, and then right after that, a lot of people pre-ordered it because they'd heard that it was coming out, and then immediately Kino announced it, so a lot of people canceled those Shameless pre-orders. If you do collect them, the latest Something Weird collaboration with Kino for their Forbidden Fruit series is coming out, Peekaboo and the B-Girl Rhapsody. But let's get on with what I have here. Any other questions while I'm doing it, let me know. As you'll see, I still have not even cut the edges on this thing. So we're going to check this out together. I also may have another bonus sitting on the floor next to me that I can open as well, that I've been holding since last week. That was not a straight cut in the least bit. I'm going to try not to be too messy. As most of you are aware, if you collect Severin, there's about to be a mountain of packing peanuts in here. Oh, let's get this open. Whew, that's a lot of peanuts. Wow, I didn't even feel like I got that much, and there's a lot in here. Okay. Right on top here, another one that I traded away and immediately regretted. If you watch my room tour, I love some of the Severin trinkets that they sell. I really wanted the Horrors of Spider Island spider again. This thing is fantastic. That is going to look great up there. Tom Ford says, I'm looking forward to Skullduggery with Burt Reynolds and Golden Needles with Jim Kelly. Yes, Golden Needles especially looks great for me. I cannot wait. I believe I have that one pre-ordered too. I believe this is from Dark Waters. I think that's the name of the title. A little enamel pin that they have. I have the movie already, I believe, but did not have this from when they released their package back in the day. Angel says, I love their peanuts because I wow my kid melting them in the water. Yeah, that's always fun. What is this? I don't even remember getting this. Oh, let me see if I can get this to show up here. This is the Nosferatu and Venice pen. He's sunk down to the bottom. Kind of hard to show. That's Klaus Kinski in there. Let's get him to float to the top. There he goes. Oh, Severin. I love what they put in these. Nice. Here's another little pin. Oh, okay. This is the Gwendolyn pin. This is done by Pixel Elixir. You know, Ryan, that's exactly one of the reasons I do it. I love getting other things with the Blu-rays. And some of these other companies, like Vinegar Syndrome does it sometimes, but Severin really leans into it, and it just makes it interesting and fun. But of course, it's all about the movies at the end. Here's the other Gwendolyn pin that I did not have. Really high quality on these. Curious about that pen. Oh, yeah, happy to show. All right. Man, I don't know why. I'd gotten rid of a few Severin titles before, and now I rebought them at the sale price. But once again, I have the Beast in Heat, and I primarily rebought this one because I had, for some reason, not recognized that this has an entire Nazi exploitation documentary on the back here. And somebody saw that I had it and requested it. And I traded them this and something else for another title that I wanted. But I really wanted to see that documentary. So I'm stoked to be able to watch this. And that's a brand new documentary. I believe that they made themselves. Also an interview with Stephen Thrower on here. Cannot wait. Angel, you are speaking to my heart. Put a soundtrack in and you get my money. Severin kills it with the soundtracks. They always sound great. I love how many releases they actually get with soundtracks. Not enough companies do that. I did that. You're Aaron. Or Angel. Arrow recently put in The Stylist. They put a soundtrack, and they absolutely need to put in more soundtracks. Next up is the new release of Strike Commando. This is one, in fact, here is Strike Commando 2. In the same month, they put out both of them. These look really fun. This was a cheesy month for me from them. I believe that was the titles for June, but they look really good. And then, of course, there's interviews with Claudio Fragasso on here on both of them, which is always good. I still can't believe they're able to get him for some of these, but he's willing to talk about them, so why not? Next up is this is Intervision, The Masturbating Gunman. With the title like that, oh, and it's autographed too, you can see there. With a title like that, you're curious what's going to be in it. But Intervision does some wacky, wacky movies. I love them. It says, worldwide Blu-ray premiere with sensitive New Age killer Stress to Kill and Purgatory Road. He emerged as one of the most transgressive indie filmmakers today. And in this early career feature, Mark Savage created one of the most over-the-top underground films of our time. Let's get into the actual words here. Savage tells an epic tale based on a true story of extreme violence, compulsive wanking, avenging nuns, and olfactory genius. Also known as Masked Avenger versus Ultravillain in the Lair of the Naked Bikini, this unclassifiable nugget of cult fodder is now remastered in HD, released under its original title. This sounds fun as hell. Tom says the Nazi exploitation documentary is excellent. I cannot wait to watch it. Both docs on Beast and Heat are fantastic. You'll need the Kinski pen to take notes. The level of detail is stunning. It really always is. Severin's documentaries are great. I cannot wait until we get a disc release of that folk horror documentary that they've been taking around all these festivals. Looks fantastic. Next one, speaking of Barbara Steele, I, for some reason, never had their release of Nightmare Castle, and it just grabbed me with their prices this time. And this one is remastered and restored in HD from the original negative. Barbara Steele is amazing. This has Castle of Blood from 1964 and Terror Creatures from the Grave from 1965. Commentaries from Barbara Steele. Looks great. Razor says, comedy and Gunman fell flat for me, unfortunately. They can't all be winners, of course. Hopefully you got something out of it. I know that a lot of people have not responded very well to it, but that is common with Severin films, it seems like. And speaking of things that people have fall flat for them, Jess Franco. This is Black Boots and Leather Whip. This is one that has some striking imagery a lot of people have recognized just from old classic art, like Thrower stuff that they have used as cover art and promotional art in the past, and we have not had a great release of this until now. But this includes the In the Land of Franco documentary, Part 5, that they have been putting out on a lot of their Franco titles. And I believe we finally get the conclusion of that with this month. So I am stoked to put all those together finally. This also has Stephen Thrower on it. So cannot wait for that one. Some of these peanuts are in the way. Some more of the newer titles before we get to the classics that I got. Finally have in my hand Skinned Deep. When they first announced this one, let me show you the back. Some of the art that they've had for this, this immediately made me want to watch that. First off, that is Warwick Davis there. This movie sounds incredible. I don't know how I never saw this. This is also by the same director that did Saint Bernard. Now, if you watched my Severin sale recommendation videos, I adore Saint Bernard and have recommended it profusely for people for a long time. It is so much fun. The art in Saint Bernard is great, so I'm hoping for a lot of the same here. And to be honest, it sounds and looks very similar. At least in tone, not necessarily in what they are showing. Angel says, never seen a Barbara Steele movie. I know, shame, shame. That happens to the best of us. There's a lot I haven't seen. As long as you're willing to admit it and not pretend that you've seen something, that's how we all overcome it. We're all just discovering cinema together. And speaking of discovering cinema together, one I haven't seen, but I've wanted to for a long time, Endgame by Joe D'Amato. This is one that, this is the first ever authorized American Blu-ray release with the soundtrack. I cannot wait to watch this one. Their bundle for this time was super intriguing. It was based on this post-apocalyptic type of feel, and it definitely screams that. All of the titles that came with it, like this next one I'm going to show, it looks like it's going to be great. Angel says you picked up St. Bernard. Great. I hope you like it. I adore Lucio Fulci, and I am stoked to finally have Warriors of the Year 2072. This is one that you'll see a lot of the art from again in like promo materials for Fulci. This is entered the 80s Italian sci-fi arena armed with full-throttle visuals, hard chrome nihilism, and mad blast of Il Maestro's signature grisly mayhem. Supposedly, this is extremely gory. I cannot wait to dive into this one. This just sounded amazing. And then the big thing, yes, has that CD soundtrack like we just talked about. They cannot stop doing that. I really hope that they are able to get so many more of those. This next one is another Jess Franco title. This is The House of Lost Women. This has another In the Land of Franco documentary portion on here. Not a lot to say. I don't have a lot of knowledge on that one. One that I got on a whim because I saw it was still available is Vi with the slipcover. I have the Eureka release of this, but I love the art that they have on the slipcover, primarily this back art. And I know that does not, let me see if I can get some of that glare out of here. Oh well. This does not get shown off enough. We see the front all the time, but the gothic look on the back here is fantastic. That's Vi. And if you haven't checked it out, the Eureka release of Vi is amazing. Not that I'm going to put down Severin necessarily, but the Vi release from Eureka has the director's first film, I believe, and a whole bunch of extras on it. That is an older title. Here's a newer one. The other main gimmick that Severin was hitting hard during this sale was their illegal slipcover that they were selling, and that is Evil Dead 5 on what we know as Beyond Darkness. This is another Claudio Fragasso title, who is someone that Severin has worked with for a long time, so not very surprising. The only real surprising part about it on this is that this got announced while the Scream Factory double feature, including Beyond Darkness, was still in print. So this will go nicely with their Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3 slipcover, Jaws 5 slipcover, and, whatever. And then they have the Terminator slipcover. Is that all of them? Yeah. This is one I am looking forward to revisiting. I believe we also can't see because I'm not opening it just yet, but I believe we have a new scan on this one. And then, probably the most sought-after title during the sale is their brand new 4K release of this, Blood for Dracula by Paul Morrissey. This is one of their giant sets. As you can see how thick that is compared to something like Beyond Darkness. This is just like their release of Santa Sangre, like the shirt I'm wearing. This is a 3-disc set, which again includes the soundtrack. One of the main reasons I love this, not to mention it's in 4K. And Severin's other 4K releases so far have looked great. They are up there with Arrow and just below Blue Underground as far as quality. They have been very, very, I won't say overbearing with the HDR, but they've looked very realistic and toned down rather than some more of the high contrast HDR cuts that we've gotten from some other studios. Severin looks to be doing it right for the most part. Looking forward to seeing this one. The color on this is going to be an interesting one. A lot of people were poo-pooing the promotional material they used for that title. Let's see. Ryan says, it's so beautiful on the interior as well. Probably the nicest box I've owned so far. You know what? I'm going to open that one up as soon as we get through some of these other ones then. I'm going to be watching that one soon, so may as well. And then what else is down here? A whole bunch of older titles. Let me see if we got some newer ones left. Oh, this came with the Horror of Spider Island bundle. All right, I need to get some of these older ones out of the way, so I'm just going to show these off real quick. Most people have seen these so far years ago. So this is old Severin double feature of Axe and Kidnapped Coed. I've heard Axe is great, but that Kidnapped Coed is the winner in this double feature, and it's surprisingly sleazy, supposedly. One that I had to get because it has Vincent Price, and I've not seen this, Dark Harvest and Escapes. This is the Intervision release, and it's on DVD only. They do not have that on Blu-ray. And then, I'm trying not to make a mess here. This is Thirst, one of their real old titles. It's got that old banner they used to use across the top there. This is an Ozploitation movie, of course. Have never seen Thirst. Looks great. Ooh, man. I'm going to hold that one for a second because that's one that I was anticipating for a long time. This one is, like I said, with that bundle, The Horrors of Spider Island. Let me hide some nippleage there. This is Invaders of the Lost Gold. I can show the back of this one. This looks great. This is the ones that came out with the Strike Commando titles. And this one looked really good. It was a really fun-looking month from Severin. This one, Retribution, The Ultimate Nightmare. Now, this is one I can already feel. This is still shrink-wrapped, and I can feel that this slipcover is too small. You can see here, there is so little room between the Blu-ray and the slipcover that I am honestly a little worried that I'm going to be able to get that off. It is bulging. This is, I think, a 3-disc set. I believe this has the soundtrack in it, and it is stretching in the middle. I guess that's not going to come up there, but it is crazy how tight that feels. I did not have this one. This is the Trail of Dracula. This is an all-new documentary that Severin had put out through Intervision quite a few years ago now. This was pretty cheap during the sale. And then some of these other ones, off there. One I somehow had never picked up, Drive-In Massacre. This is another Ozploitation movie, I think, if I'm remembering right. I might be getting that mixed up. It's supposed to be pretty good. Oh, I didn't have it, I guess, if I picked it up again. So this is Dark Waters. That came with that pendant that I showed at the very beginning. And then another new release. This is one that, I think this is the July bundle. Maybe it was June. No, June was the tropical bundle. So this is July. This is one that I have been really wanting to see, and they used Let's see. In 1975, Montreal filmmaker Denis Hero, future director of The Uncanny and Oscar-nominated producer of Atlantic City, adapted the true story of Chicago mass murderer Richard Speck. So that's one of the reasons I've been looking forward to this. I love stories like that. Richard Speck is fascinating. Sorry, I drink a lot. This is one of the newer titles. This is an Intervision title, The Badger Game. And when I said newer, I meant more modern, I guess. This is pretty old. Just had never picked it up, so figured why not. Stoked to finally have this with how much I've been watching these lately. Kung Fu Trailers of Fury. I have been talking a lot today. I deleted training today, or not today, it was yesterday, I think, to 100 and I think about 15 different people at work. That was rough. Even just doing it virtually, talking alone for 2.5 hours, I'm kind of doing it again. But next up, we have Christopher Lee, the classic Count Dracula. Man, I hate that reflection. I need to get a better setup for my lighting in here. This one I never had, and I'm stoked to finally have this one. Future Shock, the story of 2000 AD. This is supposed to be great. Another fantastic documentary from Severin. This is one, I don't remember ordering this. I believe I already have this title, so I might get rid of this. This is Blackenstein. I'm 99% sure I have this already. I think that was an accident. And then the return of Kung Fu Trailers of Fury. So I have both of them now. All right. The other main title from the sale that people were looking for was Raiders of Atlantis. This is a big one. This is the same director of Cannibal Holocaust, and this is a very famous movie. Can't wait to see this. Special features on this. We have interview with the director, an interview with the cinematographer, and an audio commentary with Mr. Brad Henderson from Vinegar Syndrome. Can't wait to hear that. Let me see if this is the last one. This is, I believe, my last movie release in here. But this is the movie I've been looking forward to the most, and that is Siege. This is, the way they wrote this up, and I'm going to open this, I think. The copy for this movie sounds like it was written for me. It is everything that I want to see in a movie, and then some. And somehow, oh man, yeah, see, that is tight. So this says, one of the most disturbing and rarely seen Canadian shockers of the 80s, inspired by the actual 42-day Halifax police strike. When a local group of right-wing vigilantes massacres the patrons of a gay bar, the sole survivor seeks refuge in a nearby apartment building, whose residents must now defend themselves in a night of hate, terror, and bloodshed. And let's see, this is released in the U.S. as to self-defense and scanned in 2K from the original negative. I cannot wait to see this. It reminds me of the idea behind Assault on Precinct 13. Looks amazing. Here is the back, since I got the slipcover off. I don't know if I showed the back of the slip. Pretty nice slip on this, too. But yeah, that is tight. All right. Fishing through the peanuts to see if there's anything else down here, which there is. I got the Blood for Dracula sticker from them. And their stickers are fantastic, so I got the whole new bundle that they put out. Warwick Davis on a sticker. Angel asked, never gotten around to Blackenstein, any good? It's basically what you expect from that movie. It's fairly exploitation heavy. That's from Skin Deep. And then we have Jakoda. But Blackenstein's fun. It's not... don't go into it expecting something like Blackula, which was a lot more artistic. Is there anything else in the peanuts? I think that's it, other than this massive creation at the bottom. And then, of course, another Severin sticker and Intervision sticker. Do I have the Beast and Heat sticker? Yes, I do, unfortunately. Okay, so this is the last thing that was in that box. Let me get the bubble wrap off of here. A lot of people have been asking about this. Get laid. Siege is pretty good. I will enjoy it. Nice. Did you just watch it for the first time, Tom, or had you seen it before? The trailer for Siege looked really good, and to be honest, at first I had it in my mind that I was going to pass on the entire month when they announced Siege, and the trailers alone got me in all of them. They all looked great, and one of the big things is they all look like movies that my wife's going to love too. She's super into true crime, like every typical white woman lately, it seems like, and yeah, she's going to be all into those as well. This is After the World Ends, when post-apocalyptic movies were telling the future. And it's got Escape from New York highlighted on the back. It doesn't get much better than that. This is nice. I got to be honest, I expected it to be a little bigger, but I'm not going to complain. It'll still take quite a while to read. And the best part is they have really big art and then nice write-up, different size write-up on so many of these movies. They're not just, a couple paragraphs like they could be. Some of them, as you'll see here, multiple pages for the same title. That's about Robot Holocaust. Got that movie. This looks fantastic. Man, super high-quality art. Looks really good. Feels really good in the hand, too. Angel says that book is so much bigger and thorough than I thought it would be. Yes, I guess I had a different thing in my mind because I was thinking of what came with the Christopher Lee set, and that book was massive. Actually, I guess they've done two previous to that this year. They had one in the Christopher Lee set, and then they also had the book for Milligan. And the Milligan one, man, if you saw my unboxing of Milligan, that book is huge. Oh, Master Chaos showed Siege. Okay. I forgot he had done that. The Siege was great, would make a great double feature with Assault on Precinct. Exactly. That was my first thought. And I always liked Assault on Precinct 13, but I got really lucky in 2019, right before everything shut down due to COVID and all that. One of my local semi-indie theaters, locally owned, they do every year a Carpenter Fest. And we got to go see 3 movies on the big screen. And the first one that night was Assault on Precinct 13. We saw that, and then followed that up with Prince of Darkness, which, again, I had liked, but got way more appreciation for it that night. And then the big one is we ended the night with In the Mouth of Madness. And, man, that was a great way to end that triple feature. Hoping to go again this year, but it's a lot more mainstream. Like, they're showing The Thing and The Fog and something else. Can't remember what the third one is. Blood for Dracula. Just opened it. Nice embossed head here. Really nice on the box. Wow. This is the art on the inside. This is an incredible set. This very similar to the stunning look of the Santa Sangre set. I am so glad that they're going all in on these. Make sure I can show everything. Super high quality. And oops, don't want to drop that. 3 full discs, nice digipack, really vivid art there. Gotta love it. Jonathan says, nothing like seeing those Carpenter classics on the big screen, for sure. And for something like Assault on Precinct 13, I don't know, it does change it a bit. It's something that I, watching it at home multiple times before, even that opening scene that shocked everybody the first time you saw it with a little girl getting killed. It's different when you're watching it with a group of Carpenter fans, first of all, but then also seeing it on the big screen. And that was the first time I'd seen it on the big screen, and I'm super glad I could. This is a art card that came in Blood for Dracula, but this also has the CD track listing on the back. Let me see if I can get that in there. And there are so many tracks on here. I need to get this in my burner tomorrow. 30 full tracks. Fantastic. I hope they keep doing releases like these. I'm curious what their next UHD title is going to be. They have not announced any other UHD titles at the moment. Everything else from now through October are all just regular Blu-rays. But as I sort of teased, after I did my Severin, I do have one other thing here that I can unbox that I've been holding on to. Nothing printed on here to give it away what it is. This is one I set in my closet, and if you've seen the room tour video, it's sort of out of the way. I have not been going in there that much this week, and then I went in there today to get my Severin box out, and realized I still had this sitting on the ground, waiting to be unboxed, and figured why not? Let's throw it up there. I don't need to make a full video for this or anything. And it's a long box, which if you collect from Shout Factory, you probably recognize it. Let's see. Whew. Okay, so they got this bubble mailer in here, which they've been shipping these very well lately. Shout Factory used to have some problems. Speaking of John Carpenter, when they released The Thing Steelbook a few years ago, a lot of those got sent back in, and they had to resend them to people because the posters were ruined. And so that's why they started sending these huge boxes with all kinds of protection. And I haven't had a problem since then. They have been great. And hopefully, as I say that, this is good as well. Looks fine to me. This is Battle Beyond the Stars. Really nice, colorful steelbook. Seems like they'd gone a while since their last steelbook. I think that was last February. Real nice color on here. And I believe this is a new 2K scan of the inner positive. This is a part of the Roger Corman line that they bought all the rights to. And this big box is this big because there's also the Scream Factory exclusive NECA figure in here. And I am surprised. That's quite a lot of really great detail. And you can see when they get these exclusive, it does have the Scream logo on the bottom. I'm still surprised that this one went Scream instead of Shout Factory. Curious why they're doing that, but I guess it makes sense. All of the other Roger Corman ones have been Scream. Got artwork on the back showing the character. And then, of course, comes with the poster. And something really nice that they changed recently. I think it was about the time they did those John Carpenter mishap that they had. They started putting these stickers on the outside so you can keep the tubes, and then when you want to hang one, you can see what's on the inside. So that is what I have for the night. Anyone else out there have any questions? Anything to talk about? Any other rumors to discuss? Anything coming up that you want to throw out there? Do I think Severin will ever consider doing a subscription similar to Vincent? I got to be honest, I don't. And the only real reason I think that's the case is because Severin, what is the polite way to say this? Severin is fantastic. Like I said, this has been their best year. I don't think they're going to do one because they don't have their shit together like Vinegar Syndrome. They seem to go off the cuff sometimes, and I don't think they could offer it knowing that they have X number of releases coming up this year. Vinegar Syndrome, when they put out their subscription every November, they tell you something that's going to be coming out the following November. And Severin seems to, hey, we just got this in, and we're going to create a box set, and it's going to come out in 3 months sometimes. And that's great, and I'm glad that we get stuff from them, and I'm glad that we're able to do that. But when things get delayed, it really messes up the idea of a subscription. And Vinegar Syndrome's had to fight that a couple times, but even then, they have so much planned. And with OCN being their parent company, they have the rights and access to the elements for so many movies that they can still release them. So they are working on things so far in advance that sometimes they get done with things early and can throw it in there if they miss one. 4K City of the Living Dead. When's going to be our time? Waiting for New York Ripper to arrive to judge. Positive reviews so far. Yes, the New York Ripper in 4K looks way better than it should. Blue Underground is like I said, literally the best 4K company out there, in my opinion. There is no reason to think that they are going to be letting us down anytime soon. Maniac Cop 2 and 3 coming soon. Those are going to look great too. 4K City of the Living Dead. I gotta be honest, I'm hoping for Arrow. Arrow put out that special Blu-ray package. I'm just going to leave that up on the screen, Tom. Thanks. So Arrow put out City of the Living Dead in the UK. They don't have rights in the US, but I'm hoping we get a 4K from them. If you've never seen it, let's see, I've got it close. The Scorpion release in the US. This is pretty incredible. Not 4K, just a 1080p Blu-ray, but this is a new 2020 4K color grading of the movie, and it looks incredible. I just watched this a couple months ago again. Oddly enough, I was on the phone with my mom, and she brought up a movie that she had seen as a kid and couldn't remember what it was. And she described the scene where a woman is vomiting up guts. And I asked a couple questions, and I deduced that it was City of the Living Dead. And I said, hey, in your honor, I think I'm going to watch that tonight. And I sent her a picture of it. She's like, yes, that's the one. Watched it with my wife. My wife did not love it. She's never loved Fulci, but I love this one. And if you don't have it, I would highly recommend the Scorpion releasing. I'm not sure if this is still available, so if I'm just being a dick and recommending something you can't get, my apologies. And Tom, I know you're not gay, but I'm not trying to be a dick. Happy to share my package with you. Arrow on a Fulci title would be perfect, yes. And while that's funny, big credit to Mom on that one. My mom loves horror movies. She is from that era where they were starting to blow up, and she came from a very Mormon household, so she was ripe for the rebellion. Still loves a lot of them. She is hopefully moving closer to me here soon, and I've been trying to bribe her with the idea of revisiting all kinds of titles that she used to watch as a kid that we can revisit together. Just right before the pandemic, she actually went and saw Rob Zombie, and she loves his movies. I love most of his movies, but not quite all of them. Yeah, my mom's great. Really great lady. All right, if nobody has anything else, that might be it for tonight. Thanks for hanging out. That was a good one. Second episode going a little over an hour and a half. I am ready for bed. I wake up early. I got to be at work at 6 a.m. Monday through Friday, and I work Saturday sometimes as well. So it's going to be an early morning for me because I still plan on watching a movie tonight. Thanks for hanging out with me. Thanks for being here for the unboxing. Severin sale was probably, I won't say their best sale ever because they used to have better prices, but I would say this was their best slate in quite some time. Thanks for hanging out, and same as usual from one collector to all of you. Have a good night.